Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, whatever. Serge Live here and welcome to another Destiny video. Today it's about the second expansion, House of Wolves, and I will show you why it was actually the most important expansion. What's your favorite expansion? Let me know down in the comments. And now let's go. So, because we currently exist in a time where quite literally nothing interesting is happening in the present state of the game, Sparrow Racing has come and gone. We are not even going to get a hint of what's next until at least next week. And that will almost certainly be another relatively low-key event rather than big new paid DLC, which we may not see at all until Destiny 2 comes out this fall. But it's DLC I want to talk about today, specifically what I view to be the most significant additive content in the game's short history, House of Wolves. If you ask Destiny players to rank the best DLC from the game, you will probably hear a pretty standard order: number 1 The Taken King, 2 House of Wolves, and 3 The Dark Below. Much of this is based on the size. The Dark Below was the traditional as Destiny DLC ever got, with only a scare handful of new missions, strikes in a new raid. It's a far cry from the Taken King, which at double the price offered an enormous wealth of content, and players are likely to love the expansion because of that. House of Wolves usually lies somewhere in the middle. I won't dispute that perhaps the Taken King is the better DLC, but I think House of Wolves is more important pack, namely because of the concepts it introduced to the game and the ways in which it expanded the series. What do you mean? Number 1, House of Wolves was the clearest example of Bungie being willing to learn. Fans were not over the moon with Dark Below, and Bungie felt that. House of Wolves represent a direct response to fan criticism of the first DLC. It was clear that a standard level of DLC just wasn't going to cut it next time, and Bungie really took that criticism to heart, offering bigger, better DLC for exactly the same price as the first one. They heard fans saying, "If this next DLC is like the Dark Below again, I'm out," and did their best to keep those hesitant fans in the fold. I'd say it very much worked. Number 2, House of Wolves made patrol fun again. The packs of brawling wolves that Bungie unleashed upon the Destiny landscape in the lead up to the release of the DLC itself were arguably one of the best components of the entire affair. They were using the game to sell future content for the game. It sounds simple, but it's brilliant, and managed to make Destiny feel like a living, breathing world that can change over time. The Wolves event was the first time since the Loot Cave where players would gather in patrol areas for a common purpose and even talk. It was a bug racing back and forth to open treasure chest. It's still probably the most fun activity we've ever seen in patrol. Number 3, House of Wolves expanded the game in a new way with the Reef. In expansions, all Destiny players expect to get new zones in the map where they can murder aliens, but House of Wolves is the only DLC to give us a new zone of peace, rather than war, the Reef. Bungie didn't have to make this zone, not really. They could have easily concocted some story about the Queen's envoy arriving and just put all the new vendors in various blank space in the tower, but instead they crafted a brand new place for this purpose and gave players a new social space to congregate. Number 4, House of Wolves created true PvP endgame. I don't think there's a question that Trials of Osiris is the best thing to happen to Destiny PvP in the game's history. Iron Banner is well and good, but it wasn't until Trials where Destiny PvP felt competitive in the right way. Trials offered a new path to max level other than just high-end PvP gear, with the message being that you didn't have to play the game just one way to success. Trials was such a success, it still exists to this day and will likely be a big part of Destiny for some time to come. But we can't forget which DLC it was that spawned it, House of Wolves. Number 5. House of Wolves showed us PvE endgame doesn't always have to be a raid. Prison of Elders was a pretty daring experiment that some would say failed as an endgame activity, but I think it shows an important perspective that endgame content does not always just have to focus around a single raid. That's how things worked for the vanilla game The Dark Below and now The Taken King, but it was refreshing to play an entirely different kind of activity in the From Prison of Elders, despite its shortcomings. House of Wolves let players max out through persistence, not luck. House of Wolves presented a very clear path toward the new level cap of 34 through both Prison of Elders and Trials of Osiris. You completed a task, you got an item, you could trade for the gear that would level you up. It was straightforward, but no longer reliant on random drops to complete your raid armor set. The Taken King tried to do things differently with its light level based system that allowed more incremental leveling, rather than simply trying to get your character to increase 2 more levels only for a big power boost. The problem, however, is that now in late game, once again, everyone is reliant on random drops. Everyone is trying to get that one 320 piece of gear they need and are frustrated when they are still stuck with a 312 ghost shell. We are back to relying on randomness rather than a more solidified system. Yes, there were problems with the Wolf's leveling system being too short, allowing players to max too quickly, but I still think it was preferable to random drops alone, and the game has moved backwards since then. All of these factors combine in a way that makes House of Wolves the most significant Destiny expansion to date. I don't think it succeeded with all the novel concepts it proposed, but it did have a lot of great ideas, and while some of them live on to this day, it's sad that many have fallen by the wayside. The Taken King was bigger and better in a lot of ways, but Destiny's true renaissance began with the House of Wolves. So guys, this was my video, thanks for watching. Do you see this the same? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. Have a good day, see you soon, bye.